After an accident, there's one question people answer without thinking, and it's the reason many claims quietly fail. It sounds harmless. Most people answer it honestly, but later, they're shocked when it's used against them. The response feels natural in the moment, almost automatic. You want to be cooperative, reassuring, maybe even polite. But that innocent answer can become surprisingly powerful evidence down the road. This is general information, not legal advice. After accidents, insurance companies often gather information very early. The questions usually feel casual, even friendly. Representatives sound concerned, supportive even. They're just checking in, making sure everything's okay. The conversations happen when emotions are high and thinking might be clouded. But those early answers can shape how situations are later understood, sometimes in ways that feel completely unfair. The question is usually some version of, "How are you feeling right now?" Most people respond automatically. They say things like, "I'm okay," or "I feel fine," without thinking twice. It's human nature. You're trying to process what just happened. Maybe you're embarrassed, maybe you're trying to calm everyone down. Perhaps you're genuinely unsure how you feel because adrenaline is masking everything. So you give the most natural response possible. What many people don't realize is that early statements are often remembered and written down. Even when injuries show up later, those first answers can still matter. Days or weeks afterward, when soreness develops or medical issues surface, those initial words of "I'm fine" can suddenly become central to how the entire situation gets evaluated. The timing creates an unfortunate contradiction that's difficult to explain away. This is why two people in very similar accidents can have very different outcomes, based not on the crash itself, but on early conversations afterward. One person might instinctively say they feel okay, while another might mention feeling shaken or uncertain. Both responses are completely honest in the moment, but they can lead to dramatically different paths forward. The accidents might be identical, but the early documentation tells different stories. It's not that people are lying. Most are just trying to be polite or calm the situation. There's something deeply human about wanting to reassure others that everything's under control, especially in stressful moments. You might be thinking about the other driver's feelings, or trying not to alarm family members who arrive at the scene. Maybe you're just grateful that things weren't worse. But later, those words can be interpreted in ways people never expected. The challenge is that immediate post-accident feelings aren't always reliable indicators of actual harm. Shock, adrenaline, and emotional overwhelm can mask physical problems that become apparent later. What feels like fine in those first crucial minutes might transform into something quite different as hours and days pass. Medical professionals understand this phenomenon well, but early statements can overshadow that medical reality. The disconnect creates confusion for everyone involved. People find themselves in the strange position of having their own words used to question their later experiences. They remember feeling genuinely okay at first, so they can't argue with their own statements. But they also know their current reality is different from those initial moments. It's a frustrating contradiction that many people never saw coming. Understanding how early questions are used helps explain why accident outcomes sometimes don't make sense to the people involved. It's not about blame or fault. It's about recognizing how timing and documentation can create lasting impacts. Awareness of these dynamics helps people understand why certain conversations matter more than they might initially seem. Knowledge about these patterns can help people make more informed decisions about how they communicate during already stressful situations. Subscribe to Accident Facts for more accident and insurance awareness